Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is a Star Wars movie that should and shouldn't be. And that might not make sense, but when you guys walk into the cinema, you start from the beginning and you end of it, you'll understand what I mean. And if you're someone that loves Star Wars like I do, you're definitely gonna walk out happy. And for someone who's distanced himself from Star Wars as a whole for a while, actually, I really want to get back into the whole Star Wars fandom, start taking more photos on my Star Wars figurines, everything. Walking into the cinema, seeing the first screen title a long time ago in a galaxy far away, and then having the Star Wars scream to your face, that was an amazing moment. That was like historical for me. But besides that, besides the fanboying in the cinema, it worked as a Star Wars film. It's whatever a Star Wars film should be and shouldn't, and I'll tell you why. So the characters in the movie that they chose to focus on was obviously Rey, Finn, Poe, Chewie, and Kylo Ren. But the bonding between the four of them, which was Chewie, Rey, Finn, and Poe, was very dynamic. I really loved it. They were very close. They were upset at each other at times, but got the job done. It was very great seeing all of them on screen, especially because we have seen them on screen before, and it was kind of mind-blowing because although I had seen them on screen before, I feel like I've never actually seen them work together. And in this one, they really did incorporate that bonding between the four of them, and it was really great. I mean, talk about new characters. If I'm talking about new characters, there was this badass archer woman. Put up her Black Series here, and then her photo. I don't know her name. I don't remember it at all. Like, not that I wasn't paying attention, she just wasn't mentioned a lot. But her character was pretty significant to me. I feel like they could have done more with her character, because she's an interesting character, and an interesting character as a whole. And it's just very it's great that they implemented new characters into this movie, but I feel like the whole movie was an ending to a saga, and that it didn't really need to introduce more characters. I would like to see more character development, which was what was shown in the film, and that was really touching to me, because seeing the characters develop from The Force Awakens all the way down here to The Rise of Skywalker, the end of the saga, end of the trilogy, it was really really touching. And that was one of the main reasons why I cried in the cinema, because seeing such development in character was very significant to me, and I feel like that could have been more effective if they just kept developing on and on and on. But I'm not complaining, because I really like to see new characters, you know. And obviously, keeping on with the positives, I mean, the dialogue was great. Dialogue, no cringe factor, enough humor to make me just chuckle once in a while and then get back on the edge of my seat because the TIE fighter is coming on, kind of thing. But the cinematography, obviously Lucasfilm and Disney, they don't fail to do that crazy effects that they do, TIE fighters all over the sky and stuff, and all the character develop, like the facial, the physique, you know, everything was great. The practical effects, everything was great. Developing new planets, new areas, everything was really great. And obviously they nailed that. That was great. I didn't really pick out any weird CGI effects or anything. Obviously there was some parts where I was like, okay, that doesn't work as a CG effect, or that doesn't really go well, that doesn't really jive well, but I'll bring that up later if you stick tuned for the spoiler alert, which I don't think you guys will. But yeah, cinematography obviously was great, and then dialogue and all the acting was fine, everything was fine. In terms of emotions that were touched, was mostly joy. I did cry about 2 to 3 times. Don't remember, but I feel like it was more, this movie more reminded me of, oh, like, this is the end of a saga, this is the end of a trilogy. And I think things that happen throughout, like character development and just few scenes that happened throughout the film, it just really got to me, and that was when I let go. You know, it wasn't that bad, but you know, I cried, and man gotta do what a man gotta do. You know, I got feelings too, but like, yeah, I mean, one of the things that were interesting along with the bonding of the friendship was actually the relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey. We did see a lot of that force dream thing that was going on with Kylo Ren and Rey, and that was very interesting to me. And I think it was only shown in The Last Jedi, but that was very interesting to me, and that was touched more upon in this movie, and that was very interesting to me because it was just an aspect that was really brought upon the screen that I really enjoyed visually, and just visually it was just really great. I think now we're gonna dive into the negatives a little bit. One thing that the movie as a whole is missing was probably a bit more of physical action, and more of like lightsaber duels, more combat rather than just TIE fighters and X-Wings and stuff. But I mean, Star Wars is what it is, but I would have liked to see more lightsaber action. This is the part of the video where it ends, where the spoiler-free review ends. So the countdown will start in a bit, and I'll see you guys for the spoiler review. Alright. Now, enough with the spoiler-free review. Let's get straight into the spoiler review. Let's start off with Palpatine, shall we? Because he's the main reason why I didn't like this movie. Now, Palpatine doesn't work in this movie because he's represented as a physical form, physical body. I feel like it would be even more cringy if he was represented as a Force Ghost. So I thank Lucasfilm for not doing that Force Ghost thing. But it was great seeing Force Ghosts such as like Luke and stuff. Like, that was really great, and I feel like it is good that they chose the physical form, but at the same time it doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's someone that was seen throughout the older films years back, and it's something that they wanted to bring back because it's a nostalgic character and it's something that the fans like, but he doesn't work because we know that he's dead. And the whole idea of him being a clone, I didn't really understand it. I still don't understand it. Snoke being a clone, everything. Snoke being made by Emperor Palpatine being there all along, being there before The Last Jedi, being there always. I feel like there was no proper character development in Palpatine, and I feel like it would have been better if there was some development before Palpatine was actually introduced to The Rise of Skywalker. And I feel like if Palpatine were brought up in The Last Jedi after, let's say, Snoke's death, that would have been a major thing to me, and I'll be like, whoa, you know, Emperor Palpatine, can't wait next film. But then throwing him into The Rise of Skywalker wasn't very wise, because the way that they represented him in the trailer was his laugh, nothing else than his laugh, and I got excited. I was like, Emperor Palpatine, how are they gonna pull it off? And they didn't pull it off. It was it was a letdown basically, and it's weird seeing Palpatine alive again, alive and well, alive on this machine thingy, but still having a human form. It's just the whole idea of him being a clone and everything is weird. It's weird, and I feel like he's irrelevant to the plot. He is only relevant to the plot because Rey is a Palpatine. And that brings me on to my next point. Why did Rey say that she's a Skywalker when she's not? And I feel like it is movie cliche that when you have a family name, you should take pride in it. And I'm not too sure if this was ever brought up in a Star Wars film, but you should be proud of who you are. You know, Rey, I have a lot of respect for her because she's a scavenger that found her way. But then her saying she's a Skywalker and not really opening up to her being a Palpatine is a bit of a weird thing. And you guys might say that Palpatine's a bad guy, she doesn't want to represent herself as a Palpatine and whatnot, but so what? So what if you're a Palpatine? So what if you're a bad guy? Rey is a good person. She was able to fight the dark side. She was able to regain her strength. But I feel like her being Rey Skywalker and her being open to saying that she's a Skywalker is definitely going against the whole rule of being who you are and whatnot. And I think that was a bit confusing to me, and that kind of made me upset, because you're not a Skywalker, you're a Palpatine. And I'm not gonna lie, the whole Palpatine reveal thing was very interesting. It was interesting, and I feel like so much more could have been done to just really spice things up, and that was actually one of the things that spiced up the whole movie. But it could have just been represented stronger. It could have been done better. Now, I'm not sure if I already brought this up in the spoiler-free review, but there are a lot of bad scenes in this movie, and one of those bad scenes is, again, it was Palpatine, Rey, and Kylo Ren. Now, the whole Life Force thing, it was fine. At first, it was fine until Emperor Palpatine started sucking everybody's life out and stuff. That was a bit too much. And that whole sequence, that whole fight scene was the worst ever fight scene that I've ever seen. That was the worst Star Wars battle that I've ever seen in my life, and that is supposed to be the finale, along with the TIE fighters and the X-Wings and stuff like that. That was the finale of the trilogy. That was the finale battle, and that was a letdown, because all I got out of it was Rey being Wonder Woman, Rey using her double lightsabers to deflect Emperor Palpatine's power. That was the worst thing I've ever seen. That was a bit cringy. Like, I did not want to see that. I would have liked to see more, I don't know, some other development that would have worked better. But yeah, seeing that was one of the worst scenes that I've ever seen in a whole Star Wars saga, and it was definitely a letdown. Oh, and before I forget, I said the movie in general is filmed very well. CGI is great, but some of the clips that were added in before, things like the transitions and stuff, they were very awkward, and I feel like some of them were just there for screen time, and I feel like some of them were filmed actually quite late during production, because some of the clips that I did see during the transitions were a bit awkward. But if I don't really think about it, it's not really a big deal. But that was one of the things that I did pick out cinematography wise. Okay, and now we're done with the review. I mean, I give it a solid 8, solid 7.5. Not too sure what the ratings are right now, but I feel like a lot of people are hating on it, and I haven't really read any reviews on why. But in general, it's a Star Wars film. It's what a Star Wars film should be, and it's what a Star Wars film shouldn't be. But it's a Star Wars film, and I'm a fan. And if you're a Star Wars fan, I mean, you will like it. It really gets that feeling. Star Wars always gives you that feeling of hope, you know. Like, you have that really good feeling when you get off the cinema. Like, I really want to be Kylo Ren, or I really want to be Chewbacca or Han. I don't think you get it, but it's very nostalgic, and I think seeing a lot of the effects and a lot of the things that the characters did was very interesting. And yep, solid 8.